Well, welcome back to another edition of The Morning View.
£43 million, Joao Gomes from Wolves, central midfield. What are you lot telling me? What are we saying on this one? Because this is a rumour/report that has been bubbling up the last couple of weeks to a month that Man United are interested in Joao Gomes in January. Okay, it's not a summer move. It's not instead of Elliot Anderson. It's not instead of a wing back. It's not instead of a centre back that we need. The opportunity seems like it's there to sign Joao Gomes in January for the best part of £43 million. Some reports are claiming, look, what we do know, look at the last game against Everton, and not just that game, many games of Man United. Obviously, midfield is a huge problem. We can ooze every little last bit of blood out of the stone that is Casemiro, and I'm really pleased for him. But that is not the future of our midfield. Bruno Fernandes, let's be honest, he's not a central midfielder in this system. He's not a central midfielder in most systems, especially this. So he's on an island, ill-disciplined off the ball, not the best on it in terms of trying to dictate play. It's not where he should be. We need to invest into central midfield. Is Joao Gomes a stepping stone in the right direction? Would you entertain that bid for that player in January to help us along our way? Obviously, in the summer, then we go big and hopefully, fingers crossed, go and get an Elliot Anderson, a Wharton, a Belabor, or whoever it may be. But Joao Gomes, 43 million January. Talk to me in the comments. What are you lot saying on this? Smash a like on the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you are new. Welcome back to the Morning View. Loads to talk about, like I just touched on there. Joao Gomes, Andy Mitten. Andy Mitten with a war cry, mate. Andy Mitten with a personal plea, personal pledge to Elliot Anderson down the lens. It was quite funny, actually. And we didn't bring it up. Amorim talks 3-4-3 and the adjustability of it. Not my words, not Owen's words, not the channel's words. Just a report / interview that's out there. And, of course, January loan exits as well. So it's going to be a packed show, a very, very packed show, Owen.
Yes, it's going to be a packed show indeed. Good morning. Welcome back to the Morning View. Hope everyone's doing very well and trying to sort of shake off the stink of Monday's game.
I didn't see you guys yesterday. And I'll be having my say during the show about that shit show on Monday night. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And yes, Joao Gomes, maybe Manchester United trying to undergo maybe a bit of a winter transformation, Flex, and try and look better, perform better after January. Maybe you can as well. Maybe we all can. Maybe we can all transform and perform better in January. Here's how.
Today's video is sponsored by our friends at Oxford Natural and their all-new natural supplement, Optimum Day and Night. Thousands across the UK, USA and beyond are smashing their health goals with Oxford Natural. Optimum Day gives you steady energy, curbs your cravings and keeps your metabolism firing all day. Optimum Night helps you relax, get restorative sleep, recover and keep burning fat while you rest. It's not a magic pill, but it will help you reach your health goals. Check out some of the incredible results. Two of our own, Owen, lost over 100 pounds in 10 months and KG dropped 30 pounds in 4 months. In 8 months, football legend Michael Owen lost 35 pounds and Robbie from AFTV, Don Robbie, lost over 80 pounds. And in 6 months, Anita, an award-winning immigration lawyer, lost 44 pounds. And Linda, a law firm executive, lost over 50 pounds. No gimmicks, no needles, just results. Oxford Natural, let's get to work.
Just results. Imagine that. Just results. Manchester United could take a little bit of inspiration from that. You can get up to 70% off by scanning the QR code right there. And you can get your Optimum. It's the wrong direction, Fleck. Wrong direction.
Oh, sorry.
There.
over Owen said, over to the other side.
You can scan the QR code. You get up to 70% off. You can get your Optimum Day, which is good for your weight loss goals. You can get your Optimum Night, which is good for your restorative sleep. It's a brand new and improved formula. As always, all the information, all the details in the video description below. You can click the link in the chat. The link is also in the video description below. Big up to Oxford Natural by Gowan Life. Fleck, we're linked to midfielders. Spin. Is it spin after a after another poor result, or is it legitimate?
No, I think it's continuity.
Continuity.
Yeah.
This comes from, actually, it's interesting. It's coming from quite a few outlets in Brazil, which would make sense with this one, saying that Manchester United are currently in talks with Wolves for Joao Gomes over a deal worth around £43 million. There is optimism a deal can be completed before the turn of the year. Maybe a bit of a Mateus Cunha situation whereby before the window even kind of opens, this deal gets done and he can be in straight away in January, as Don Robbie would say. ESPN, based out of Brazil, also saying the same thing, saying that Manchester United want Joao Gomes and the idea is to sign him, Flex, in January. So how real, I love saying that. I will always say January. I will always.
It's going to be a new thing. Yeah.
It's a thing. How real do you think that is? Do you think that we will? Do you think it's desperation? Is it patchwork? I mean, we're going to be talking about sort of longer term, bigger goals for the summer window.
Yeah.
And Anderson, we've been linked to Carlos Baleba and Adam Wharton. Is this always part of the plan, or is this Man United looking at, say, results on Monday and performances this season going, look, I know Casemiro's doing better and Bruno and that, but we've got nothing in there. We need something to try and get anything out of this season.
I don't think it's anything new, and I don't think it's an adjustment to seeing things in the last few weeks or the early weeks of the season. This has always been a plan. Man United tried to turn their attentions towards Carlos Baleba during the summer, realized it was too expensive, but the intent to look at that, because we need it, was there. It was already there. I think the understanding that we're going to have to struggle, suffer, make do until said stage was always there. So I don't think that if we look at a Conor Gallagher in January or a Joao Gomes in January to bolster things, is panicking. Now, obviously, on the other hand, say we were doing way better than we were, because things do change. If we were doing way better than we thought with Casemiro and Bruno, where it was like, tell you what, they're both really working really well. We're hardly losing games. We're third in the league. Everything's a bit more rosy. Then maybe that sort of, Kobe was coming on more regularly, looking good. Ugarte was doing all right, because they probably thought one game a week with those 4 central midfielders for 2 positions will probably be all right. We'll just, we've improved the front 3, gone heavy there, gone heavy for the goalkeeper. Let's just see how we go on. And that is part of football. I do agree with that. You have to, and they did look at what it would be like to get Baleba. We know that for a fact. So I don't think this is panicking. I wouldn't, again, get worried and be like, why are we getting Joao Gomes when we need to be getting, and I don't want to hear any of that talk. We spoke about this to sort of warn against this. When it's January, there's different things that are on the table. There's different things that are opportunities to do. I know some people will say, what's the point of spending 43 million on him? Put that money and make sure you go and get Anton Semenyo. Get him. We need a left wing back. Just don't work, And maybe they do that. Great. But that might not be on the cards. You know what I mean? You can only work with what's on the cards. Maybe they've spoken to Semenyo's camp, or they go to speak to him, or do you know what I mean? Maybe the noises aren't quite there. Maybe a really good attainable thing to help us in midfield is to go and get someone like Joao Gomes, who's clearly been on the list. I wouldn't be against it. I think we obviously need to improve in that position. And overall, when we're building this squad properly, you're going to need strength in depth. We're seeing it now. As soon as we make a sub and Casemiro has to come off, look at us. Even when Casemiro's not playing well and you want to take him off for another option, there's not really anything you could do.
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it? And this is kind of what I was talking about on Monday morning when the news was coming out about Casemiro new contract. I was kind of sort of going, well, can't get too distracted by that. Regardless of how well Casemiro is or isn't playing. Same with Bruno Fernandes, how well he is or isn't playing. Just that overhaul is so desperately needed. And then obviously then you can get into the territory of, yeah, but even with the best midfielders, is that system going to work? Blah, 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 blah. But all right, let's just figure out the personnel side of things first. And the personnel side of things, we don't just need 1, we need 2, maybe even 3 midfielders, right? Because we don't have that. We just don't. And like you said, you turn towards the bench and you go, Kobe came on Monday, and no match rhythm. And once again, does he fit? Doesn't he fit? No real difference. So it is desperately needed. And to be honest, Man United spending, if they do, £43 million in January, that's pretty rare, isn't it? We don't really do that much. And that does go to show those reports, if indeed this does happen, would be accurate, that actually, United do have money to spend, and PSR is not as bad as people think it is. And because of what happened in the summer and what have you, and they're in good shape. And if Man United are financially in good shape, and it does make sense to do, then Man United should go and get that midfielder. Like you said, it shouldn't be at the expense of not getting an Elliot Anderson in the summer. But I was thinking about this, Flex, as well. We'll talk about Anderson in a bit. But what's the assumption that Elliot Anderson would even maybe want to come to Man United? We don't know.
Well, Andy Mitten's going to make sure of that.
Yeah, but there's a lot of the season to play, and the results like on Monday, that's enough to scare quite a few people away, isn't it? Going, I'm not going there, And with the Antoine Semenyo thing, like you said, I'm sure there will be. If we did sign Joao Gomes, the pushback would be, add 20 million onto that, you can go get Semenyo. But maybe Antoine Semenyo doesn't have the same reaction that Cunha and Mbumo and Šeško and Loman's had in the summer, which is, do you want to come to Man United? Maybe, I'm not sure. And if it's that, then United won't go after him. But we need midfielders. We need players. Let's face it. And we kind of had this conversation on the phone yesterday, didn't we? Sort of going, well, what is actually going to change? What will Manchester United likely change in the sort of foreseeable future to try and sort of get performances, turn them around and change things and be better and be more consistent? And regardless, almost it seems, of performances or results on the pitch, Ruben Amorim's not going to go anywhere. That 3-4-3, it's not going to go anywhere until the end of the season, I think, at a minimum. See how the season plays out, then I think Ineos will make a call. But if Ruben Amorim was going to go, he would have gone already. If the 3-4,
he's not going anywhere,
going to go, and Ruben Amorim was going to change, he would have changed already. So that's not going to, so Ineos aren't looking at that to change. So the one thing that they probably and most likely will change is personnel. So if they want to sort of get a bit more consistency in terms of performances and results this season, it will have to be personnel and players that they bring in. And the opportunity to do that is January. So that's when I say, pressure will be on Ineos, because I think a lot of the fans will be looking at them going, right, where's your ambition? You've demonstrated the ambition there isn't to get rid of the manager. You want continuity, fine, fair. And you're saying it's Project 2028, and okay, bad nights happen, bad performances happen. All right, fine. I think most other managers, if they had the record that Ruben had, would have probably been gone by now, but he's got the backing of Ineos and they're not going anywhere. They're steadfast. They're focused on that, fine. Well, then you need to get more players in, because what you've got at the moment in terms of the coach, system and players, it still doesn't seem very sustainable, does it? So you have to then change. You have to get players in. You're going to have to get in a Joao Gomes, and I think it's easier to get him from Wolves now because look, they're going down. They've got 2 points. It's nearly December. They're going down. So I think they might do a bit of a fire sale.
Mad.
I don't think it's like a Cunha thing last season whereby they look like, right, we need to keep our best
sign
players
this, or
to stay up, because they're not staying up. They're going down. There would have to be some remarkable turnaround, and I don't think Rob Edwards is that guy. So they might start cashing in at this point, which is maybe how we get Gomes. But even that, Paul Merson said, and Joao Gomes, I worry for him, Jeff, because coming into that midfield, mate, you're not enough. You know what I mean?
Did Paul Merson ever actually say those real? When we make up stuff based on people's personality that they didn't.
I tried to find it.
He doesn't. It's because in his time there, he does say things like.
I just say I worry for him. I'm not sure if it was I worry from Jeff. I did have a look. If anyone can find I worry for him or I worry for him, Jeff, and they want to send that to me, that will go straight on the soundboard. So that's what will
really be there is things like I worry for him. I really do.
Yeah,
I think he's in trouble. He does things like that. Yeah, exactly.
That's good enough. Someone can find that. Then that's fine. I'll go on the soundboard.
Oh man, it is funny. Listen, I agree. Like he's attainable, right? He's attainable, and I think that's why we're getting this much noise. If of that only, because he's attainable. according to a lot of reports, he's been on the list, or Man United like him. So you do have to look at that. But I think you're going to get more sort of smoke around this, more sort of fire around this, because he's available, bro. Like, and when people are available in January and there's opportunistic signings that are able to be made and good market opportunities, as all of the buzzwords and all of that, Man United got to be there for it, you know. And we know that they want to invest heavily into midfield. I think that in terms of him, the player, you know, it's hard. Look, Wolves have obviously been terrible for like 3 years. What's that?
Well, I was going to say, I was when you said that it's difficult and you said Wolves have been terrible, I was thinking I can already see the pushback of signing him, which will be, look at Wolves, they're rubbish. Why would we sign
rubbish,
him?
Yeah.
He's rubbish.
And obviously, we got Cunha and he just kept them up twice in a row.
It'll be like, what's he done at Wolves? Look, they're terrible.
Yeah.
So he's not
they've been, yeah, exactly. they've been terrible, and we can't. You know, if he was that good, he'd be dragging them through the thing. Listen, if you want to say that, I don't know if he was there in Cunha's first year. Someone with a bit more ball knowledge, let me know. But he's been part of a team that stayed up and showed some fight, along with Cunha last year. Did he do it in the year before that? I think he was there. I want to say this is his third year. It feels like to me. How many years has he been there?
He signed for Wolves in 2023. So he's been there a couple of years.
So this is his third year then.
Yeah, in January of 2023.
Oh, January. So he came halfway through. So he's coming up to 2 years now.
He's used to a winter transfer window. You know, he's used to
a winter transfer window.
Yeah, moving around in the winter. Yeah.
So him, the player. Anytime I've looked at Wolves or played against them, I've quite liked him. I think he's all right. I do think he's all right. I don't think he's a world beater. I don't think that he's the answer to solve our midfield and like that's your main guy. But if you're telling me, do I think he's better than Ugarte? Yes, absolutely. I think he's better than Ugarte. He's mobile. He gets after people. I think he's decent on the ball. He's not the best. It's so hard to talk about Kobe in this. I'll talk about Kobe as well a little bit later. But it's hard to talk about Kobe's best version of himself because we haven't seen it for so long. He's just so out of sorts. But individually, with the ball at his feet, he can't do what Kobe Mainoo can do with the ball. But he can get about the pitch. He's active, and he's playing week in, week out. He's in a good groove, and I don't mind him in the team. You know, if he came in, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad.
Well, I think, like I said, it needs signings.
He needs signings, and then you get him. You have him playing quite a few games. From now to the end of the season, and then we go for the big ones. You know what I'm saying?
And also, because PJ says in the chat, what Gomes a long-term position be in the team? Well, I think even if the idea was, look, he's going to come in for now. Let's say in the summer we do get an Elliot Anderson or a couple of other midfielders. What we do also need is Ruben Amorim needs to be able to turn to his bench and actually have confidence in some of the players he's bringing on, because he doesn't have confidence in that. And off the bench, players up making a difference. And now obviously you can say, well, that's because no player can succeed in this system, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, none of that's changing. And what Ineos, I think, are going to change is personnel, it's players. So players out and then players in. I think Ugarte most likely goes at the end of the season. Heck, I wouldn't even be shocked if some rumors or rumblings started around him in January as well. You never know. There might be someone goes, oh, we'll take Ugarte on loan or something like that. Or, we're talking about Conor Gallagher goes on loan. Maybe there's a scenario where they go, right, you give us Conor Gallagher, we'll take Ugarte off your hands or something like that. I could see that, things like that might happen. So, yeah. And the problem is, based off Monday, it's difficult, isn't it? Because that performance was so bad. And I mentioned this yesterday. It's not even necessarily, obviously the result bothers me, but you can lose the game. But it's the manner of which we lost that game, the performance, lack of intensity, lack of, winning no duels, lack of tactical ideas from the coach, not really trying anything. It felt like to go and win the game, still being defensive. And then that translated to the players as well. Then a few days later, when you go, all right, we're going to sign a midfielder, or we're trying to sign a midfielder in January, you do feel like, when you just sort of go, what's that going to do? Because you feel like all of that I say positivity because it wasn't totally positive, but any momentum it felt like we had 5 games unbeaten just feels like it's been completely
It feels like it's been
evaporated.
zapped. Yeah, it
And
feels like it's been zapped.
It feels like, and what it's turned into, and this is how football can change so fast. We went from, in one match, in 190 minutes, we went from 5 games unbeaten to 3 without a win. That's how quickly it turned.
And it changes, and then then like you say, Palace, which, let's be honest, we know what our feelings are towards that. All of a sudden, like you say, 5 unbeaten turns into 4 no wins, 4 winners. So the narrative can change. This is why during the 5 thing we weren't getting to it, carried away. I know we had our little fun. I say we. You was telling me not to. I know I had my little fun on the Trinity when I was like, yeah, I think we're going to get this much points out next 5 games, because the whole topic was next 5 games, next 5 games. Look at that, lose first one. Do you know what I mean? And now
we said that about the media, didn't we? With the
you
got the easiest next 5, easiest 5 fixtures.
But to be fair to the media in this point, we gave him a tapping with that performance. Under those circumstances, there's no agenda. That's not. Can't believe they didn't do that. And then now it's shit, mate. Awful. You know what I mean? And Carragher, you say, oh, why are you not saying this about Slot? You can apply pressure, but we've given him a tapping when he's going. Yeah, but Roberto Martinez, like, I know, in the studio, I saw that clip. He's like, I know how you play and all that, but like, if you're against 10 men and you've got to change it, like, you change it. Like, he's going to get a lot of stick for that now, that manager. And he did. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying we have to buy into it and now we have to talk about Ruben again, but, we talk about the media, or Sky was like, oh, the next 5 games on paper with the league positions, Man United got the easiest run. Yeah, it's not just setting us up. Like, when you go and put in a performance like that, you're going to be in trouble. Just to remind yourself, like when you just watch a few comps and you go and watch the player again to remind, because it's weird, right? Because you watch Joao Gomes sort of, you don't watch Wolves 90 minutes every week, but the teams in your league, you watch, I don't know what you do, but after every game week, more so because I'm broadcasting stuff, but I do go and watch the highlights of all the games. Like, probably to be fair.
Well, it's like match of the day, isn't it? But I've only recently started watching match of the day again because Man United have started losing games.
But I can't watch it at that level. But I'll watch like the Sky highlights that just kind of show the goals, missed chances, just quick, not in-depth analysis. But anyway, cut a long story short, what I'm saying is that I do that every week. So I do that for all the teams. So I'm always aware of who's scoring goals, who's defending all right, who's whatever. And like I said, Joao Gomes, I've always seen as somebody like, he's a good little player. I was just watching his Wolves. Obviously, it's going to be the best bits, but just to remind myself, he can get about the park, man. He's a nasty little player. He's quite tenacious. He can run. I'm looking at him. He's winning the ball back a lot. He's tempo setting. He's getting a couple of goals here and there, but he gets stuck in and he can get about. And like I can see from these comps where I think it's obviously it's a Wolves propaganda of it. Our Samba star watched the best Joao Gomes moments at Wolves because he's been there for a year at the time. But I do remember some of those games against Spurs where they beat them, and he's playing against Man City. They did all right. Like, I'm looking at him linking up with Cunha and stuff. Like, he's a decent little player. He's a decent little player. So, like I said, it's not Anderson. You know what I mean? It ain't Wharton and all them type of things. It's probably not even Baleba. Who knows? Sometimes you can unearth a gem and go and find the one. He's the one who plays better than all of them in our team. Who knows? But I like him. I do like him. I would definitely take him as bolstering in the January transfer window. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, and I think also as well, it's just I just don't think we can go through that winter window and not bring people in, which is because something has to be, something you have to shake it up. That squad has to be, shaken up again. I mean, and this is probably again not what people want to hear. I did sort of talk about this yesterday too. Is that because of obviously how bad the result was and the performance was yesterday, or Monday rather, I like you said, I don't know how well the Palace result will go at the weekend, but because the league is still fairly tight, if Man United do get a result, then it's back to as you were, because teams did drop points over the weekend, didn't they? But I think what Monday does do is it's a back to reality kind of scenario of like, that thing we were talking about and Frank, and he's going to get a haircut and blah, blah, blah. He ain't getting no haircut.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's park that one. There are going to be those moments where we do go 3 or 4 without a win, and if you expect, this wholesale change to happen because of that, it's not going to happen. As you like to say, would you usually say, Flex? Batten down the hatches, strap in. That's the season. That's
Bite
what
down
we've
on
got.
Gumshoe. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we've got this season. And I think the frustration is we felt like that was what it was going to be last season, but it's going to be that again. Hopefully, it's just not going to be as bad. I do think
that is
the
Palace
season.
is going to be Palace. The guys lock in people.
Well, look,
Palace
we said that. What I will say is we said that against Liverpool. Yeah.
Yeah, I was lying.
Going into Anfield, no, but you know what I mean. Going into Anfield,
yeah, most people thought definitely can't.
There was a general consensus of absolutely we're gonna get fucking smashed.
Yeah,
we're gonna get smashed, and we haven't won there in a decade. Flex, it's not gonna happen. And this isn't me like out of like, oh, I really believe in this team and really believe in the players and the coach. This is me just sort of saying Premier League's weird this season. Anyone can be anyone.
And you know what? And you know what the worst thing is? Yeah, I know like this is the defeatist thing where you go the people who are so Amorim out. And people can say, you're 5-1 to talk, Flex, that's you. Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm talking about the people that after every time we lose or win, it's back to Amorim. We won. Don't care. Not change my mind. This ain't fooling me. Lose. This is why I'm telling you. He's got to go. I'm not that guy. I said my thing against Grimsby. I'm here now. But my point being is that every time we lose, it does seem... It just intensifies, doesn't it? Like it.
Well, that's
it
what
does.
I said. But every game though can't be a referendum on Ruben Amorim. That's what I was saying.
It
before.
can't.
I just.
Oh, that was it. Sorry, that was my point. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, just quickly. I know it sounds a bit defeatist, but when you look at the league, you go, well, I know it was the chance to go. If you would be in glass half full, I know this was the chance to get into the top 4, but at least we've got another lifeline. City
it's not
lost.
The end of the world.
Yeah,
it's not.
Liverpool
you know what I mean?
lost.
It's not.
You know,
which isn't what people want to hear. No one wants
Everton.
You don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
because it is defeatist. It is. The bar's low.
When your house is burnt down, you don't want to be told, well, at least you're alive. You go, yeah, but I've lost everything. You know, my possessions are all gone and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's you don't want to hear that at the time.
Yeah.
You don't. But
it is true in the context of everything.
Not,
we're still on track.
But it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean?
It's not.
Certainly, you can feel a bit more defeatist about the future and, you know, what's coming up. But
yeah,
this is also why, at the time, after those 3 wins, this is also why I pushed back on that whole, you need to apologize. You know, for what? We're going to lose games soon. I mean, we'll lose games soon. And then what? And then suddenly it's, okay, now actually, you know what? The manager, he does have to be out or whatever. Like, for me, like I said, I've done the, you know, not high, not low, all that kind of bullshit. And also just, I've accepted the reality. I'm in my acceptance phase, Flex, yeah? Ruben ain't going anywhere. He is not going anywhere. Ineos are going to back him minimum to the end of the season. He will get another transfer window this winter one. We will win some games. We will lose some games. And I think just dependent on how mental the league is, how tight it is, that will determine how up and down the league we actually go. That's it. That's going to be us this season. I'm in my acceptance phase. I'm not even going to do the standing. Oh, this is why Ruben needs to go. This blah, 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 because we might win our next game against Palace. I know you said it's unlikely, but you never know. And then suddenly it'll be, see, this is why you got to back him. And then we might lose our next game. And it'll be, see, this is why you got to get rid of him. And frankly, I'm just tired. I don't have the energy for it anymore. I would much rather, you know, look at sort of these transfers and go, all right, so how can the team get better? Which personnel, which players can leave? Because that is the other thing. Yeah. Some of those players still, they can't pass the fucking ball. Like genuinely, they can't. And Ruben even said this. I was stunned. Well, not really, but I couldn't believe he actually said it on Monday Night Football. You probably wouldn't have seen this, Flex, because you were at the ground. Jamie Carragher asked Ruben before the game about going more direct and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, oh, we started that against Liverpool. And he said, and really, the reason we started it against Liverpool, going a bit more direct, is we couldn't keep possession, i.e., we can't pass. We can't do short distance 5-yard passes because our players are so crap that they can't do that, or they can't handle the pressure or whatever. So we just decided, well, let's just go long then, because we'll just keep losing it in the middle of the park. And then he said the problem with that is it worked. And then we started to get too reliant on it. We started to go too direct. That's all we did. We said, let's just pump it long. Let's just pump it long. And we stopped sort of playing. But then, like we see on Monday against Everton, when they do have to start playing, they can't do it. So get rid of them, because you're not going to get rid of the coach. You know, get rid. Okay, can't pass the ball. Players are crap. Everything's crap.
Exactly. You got to get better quality. You just got to get better quality. Let's get super chats out. It's all like this now, isn't it? It's not got the names of actual people.
It's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. AAA, Asa, I'm going to say. Hate to be that person, but Bruno needs to go. Isn't fast or agile enough to play in the 10s, and too bad in and out of possession to play as 8. I've not changed my opinion on the Bruno situation. I called it in the summer before, as soon as you could see. When did I start saying this? I said it during the summer when I said he's going to become like one of the public enemy number ones because he's going to get hung out to dry playing there. He's going to look bad. You know, I mean, he'll put some numbers on the boards because he's still Bruno, but he's going to be way off his top level. And it will just, I knew this. I knew it would be this. Some people would say this even before that because they don't really rate him anyway. Even in the 10s, like as a normal 10, they're like, nah, he gives the ball away to. Some people just marmite with Bruno. But like Ace is saying, with this new version of Bruno, you ain't getting the best out of Bruno playing there every week. You ain't. And he is an issue. Like I saw some analysis on him out of possession for the goal that Dewsbury Hall scored. Like,
just lets him turn. Yeah.
Lets him turn.
That's the problem.
And even before that, he goes to mark him, doesn't go, half goes, then flipping puts half a foot in because winning the ball back deep as a protective 6 is not what Bruno does in front of his own box. He's not a ball winner. He's not.
Yeah, and
he's gone to sleep so many times in that position because he can't play there.
And this is I've mentioned this for feels like years at this point. Bruno, he's not a midfielder. You get the best out of Bruno. It's almost similar to like the McTominay thing. The closer to goal Bruno Fernandes is, the better he is. He can't play in midfield. He's not disciplined enough to play in midfield. And
unless you got him in a 3, like he plays with Portugal. You got Vitinha and Neves in there who are technicians and maestros, and you know what I mean.
And what I was going to say also as well is he's playing in midfield for all of the wrong reasons. The reason Bruno is in midfield is just because he covers a lot of ground. He's got a good heat map. So he's all over the pitch. And that's what Amorim wants out of his midfielders. And out of his other midfielders, he doesn't think that they can do that. We know that Kobe physically can't do that. Ugarte can't pass a ball. So he's like, well, I'll put Bruno there. He covers a lot of ground. And I did, when Amorim said, the reason I have him in the 8 instead of the 10 is I don't think he's disciplined enough to be in the 10. I was like, if he's not disciplined enough to be in the 10, then he's definitely not disciplined enough to play midfield. Because again, defensively, can't do it. But, that leads to a problem. And when we do buy midfielders in the summer and hopefully in the winter, I'll be fascinated to see what happens with Bruno, frankly, because there are much better midfielders out there than Bruno Fernandes because he's not a midfielder. So what happens then at that point? Do you put him back in the 10 or does he go? So they're going to be interesting things to watch.
Yeah, no, I agree. NSP says another player for Amorim to downgrade. Joao Gomes, I'm assuming. Max says we've been desperate for any kind of consistent good form for so long that any bad result stings more than it really should. We're still scarred. Yeah, there's an element of truth to that. We did speak about that, didn't we? In that good run that we were on when we were like 3 games into it, and it's like, so when you do lose, you go, it's 1 loss in 5, or it's not as bad as that. The last loss was just last week. It's not back-to-back losses,
It's the manner of it. It's the manner of Monday's one. It's
exactly because it really hurt.
And it's at home and it's against 10 men.
Exactly.
There's no excuses. I mean, when you're away from home against Forest and Spurs, even if they're bad teams or whatever, you go, it's away from home in the Prem. Points not the worst result in the world, but at home, 10 men for 70, 80 odd minutes, and you just offer nothing, then that's just embarrassing. It's humiliating. So of course it's going to sting,
Yeah. No one goes, well, it's only one loss in the last 5. You're still on the decent run.
Exactly.
Put it right against Palace. No, it's more alarming than anything. And shades of what the team were. And actually not even were, what the team still are. What the team still have that in them. They haven't moved. Man United haven't moved away from that where you go, well, that's in the past, sort of not being able to close games out, or lack of creativity, lack of quality, no impetus, not stepping forward with the ball. I was going mad. I was thinking Owens will be on that stream right now talking about the horseshoe, because that's what we were doing, doing that.
Well,
and I was,
I got the picture. That was the one flex.
There you go.
Look, literally, that's in the 87th minute against 10 men. We got a flat back 6.
Look
nearly.
at that. See, so what have you got? I'll keep that on there in a sec. What the hell do you need? Ahmad's come all the way back because, defensive positioning, you don't need that many players behind the ball. Look, Xerxes there and Boomer's the furthest man forward. Like, why? 87th minute when you should be throwing the kitchens. And these are the things that will probably make Sir Alex vomit. Like I swear to God, like it would.
And that's
That's
when,
not Man
again,
United.
That's
disgusting.
when, like I said, you can absolutely say like players, they're not running, they're not winning their duels, no aggressiveness, no intensity, but the players don't set up like that. That is a tactical setup, and that's when we talk about accountability. That is when the coach has to have some accountability on that, because
if you go lose 2-0,
that's a decision to set up the team like that.
You can do it, yeah. And that is the bit. That is the bit where I know we talked about adjustments, and he has changed some things because he told us, and he did. I didn't need anyone to tell me that. We knew that. I knew that. It's only people who wanted to complain about it. That's fine. But one thing he won't change is that it doesn't matter whether it's 10 men, last kick of the game, fucking cup final, whatever. He's going to have that set formation. What he should be doing there is go, all right, I don't need 3 centre backs. And even with what he's got, because I know pushbackers didn't have any attackers, mate, put Ugarte on, yeah, and then say to Bruno Fernandes, there's an extra body up front. Go and roam. Go and be in the final third. I'll just bring Ugarte on for Luke Shaw, and we'll just play for Lenny Yoro. He wasn't playing that good anyway. Bring Ugarte on for Lenny Yoro. Put an extra man in midfield and say you can go forward a little bit. And then Bruno, you go, and then there's just 2 centre backs you've got back 4. Just do that.
I was going to say, literally. I was going to say, have literally go. How many people have you got up front? 1 person up front. Let's literally just have 2 defenders, outnumber them at the other end of the pitch. Make it difficult. Yeah. You know what I mean? Make it just throw something.
For 10,
you know what
15 minutes.
Do something. You know what I mean? Instead of that, like you said, the horseshoe and go. It's bullshit. It's not going to happen.
Bullshit.
You know what I mean?
And these are the things where he don't help himself. Even the most staunch Amorim backers of you lot are disgrace, but you can't want him out. He needs time and stuff. This is what I talk about. You got to earn the time, bro. You have to earn stuff. Like I know the manager, Sir Jim is obviously, there's no point getting angry about it because he said I want to give him 3 years and got to give him time. I get
Ruben's
that.
Not going anywhere to the end of the season.
No. But during the time, you got to show some stuff, bro. It's not. We're allowed to have demands. People act like we can have no demands of this manager.
Like, what is I think
free hit bullshit all the time.
I spoke about this yesterday. What is really odd, and maybe this isn't the first time it's happened to Man United coaches. Ruben sort of came out after the game and was going, well, I expected the team to sort of push up and press up, and I expected the team to sort of outnumber them, and just nothing that didn't change. And it does make you wonder, again, is Ruben into that territory that others, like Eric Ten Hag and, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Jose or Louis van Gaal are in, when whatever they're sort of saying to these players, they're just not doing it. But I don't know. But they're still set up in the way that the coach is set. I don't know. There are so many different aspects of that performance, of that setup, of those players or whatever. We just go, it's just baffling. I don't understand it. I just don't get it. I don't understand why. Okay, so why wouldn't they do that? Why weren't they running? Is it because they don't care? Is it because they're not playing for the coach? Is it because they're just not good? Like, why? Why?
Yeah.
Why, when you do put in some good performances for a few games, why do you then resort to that? Just pure shit. Like,
it's mentality. The manager says it before every game. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there you go. After a year, you still don't know that's still your responsibility, bro. You can't just do what we do. As fans go, we don't know what they're going to, what United's going to turn up. You're with them every day in training, bro. We can't just get comfortable with like, yeah, that's why he just needs to just get to. That's why he just needs this because he doesn't know what they're going to do. Sometimes they'll run. Sometimes it's your job. It's still your job. That's it. That you're accountable.
But then people will point out, Flex, they'll go of that team that played last night, on Monday, sorry. There was only a couple of his signings in that team. It's still the old players, old regime, and more work to be done.
It's a mixture of everything. Look,
that's the truth. That's the reality of it. It's a mixture of everything. Like I said on Tuesday.
I don't like all of one side, though. That's what annoys me.
That's for me. It's poor players, poor application, and a poor setup. So it's the perfect marriage of shit, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Ray Carl says, this is why I'm waiting till we get more players at the end of the season till I judge anything on Amorim. You can't, because then you're saying you're not judging him at all on anything he's doing now just because he hasn't got what he wants. And I just think that's a free pass, Ray. We have to judge him on stuff because, like we were just talking about, we can judge him on. We're struggling to break down this team that's camped in a low block because they want to hold on with 10 men for the best part of 87 minutes we've played against 10 men, right? And you go, you're not judging him on basically because he won't make things different to give a different proposition that Everton would have planned for all of it. Everton would have gone, Man United will play this way, whether we go down to 9 men or whether we have a full complement of players. So when they went down to 10 men, it was very easy for David Moyes to go, right, they're not going to change anything. Bumo's still going to be there. Ahmad's still going to be there. Xerxes is going to be there. You know what you're doing with Casemiro and Bruno. So I tell you what, we'll just go 4-4-1 because we know what we're doing with that. And we'll just see it out. We'll see it out. We're not going to change anything. That's on him. That's on the manager.
And also, I would say that Ray, they were celebrating the 1 year anniversary of Amorim. You can make
supposed to be evolution.
You can say that it's not the complete project at this point. It's not the final where it's going to be. But a year in of any job, you can have some semblance of judgment. That's why you have an annual review. You know what I mean?
But Dan says I agree with not judging because this judging after every game is ridiculous. Again, that's not what it's not judging after every game. It's judging the collective. We're not only when we was winning against on a decent little run, we wasn't then all of a sudden not judging him. That also went into the pot of like, okay, start to stabilize a little bit. Like the whole thing is a judgment. You're Manchester United manager.
Like I said, I agree. I've said it. I don't think after every single result, whether it's a win, a draw, or a loss, it can be a discussion about Amorim and this, that, and the other. Because again, it's tiresome, and that's not going to change. But I do think they were celebrating it. They were talking about it. It's a year of him in charge. That's a good time to judge what's happened in that year. You can judge what's happened in that year and where Manchester United were versus where they are now. I think that's fine. You know what I mean? And I've said it a million times before. I think in the past we are so scarred with being player FC and backing players over coaches that it's gone so far in the opposite direction where there is also now player FC and there's manager FC, and that kind of middle ground is kind of sort of wish-washy and people don't really want to hear about that. But the middle ground is where the reality lies. Player FC, manager FC, it's all bollocks. It's all rubbish. It's all justification for things. The reality is in the middle ground. Like I said earlier on, poor players, poor application, poor system. That covers the whole spectrum. That's where Man United's at.
Yeah, no, 100%. Terence says, here's my confusion. Are they training how to pass and find each other? Like a basic instinct? Because what I saw on Monday was amateurish at best. Aminor says Brad's post-match video was spot on. KG flexing KG show. Yeah, that's tonight at 7 p.m. Yeah, listen, Bradley hasn't changed. Bradley fuming with Amorim, always has been. Even in the games that we were winning, he was like, "Good, long may it continue." But I've still got my doubts. I'm not changing off a thing. We're around the corner from that. And to be fair to Bradley, he didn't rate the 2 draws and said it was 2 crap performances, and this was coming.
And also, and fairness to him, when we were winning those games, praised him for that. Because again, that's when you can't let agendas get in the way. If Ruben Amorim wins 3 games in a row and wins, and for the first time in a decade, of course he gets praised for that. Absolutely gets praised for that. But at the same time, if you're there to get the praise for when things are going well, you're also there to get the criticism when things aren't. Because again, that's how life works. If you do a good job, you get praised for it. If you do a bad job, then you'll get criticized for it. And that's the same with players, it's the same with coaches, the same for anyone in any form of life. You know what I mean? Yeah. If I show up here fucking 45 minutes into the show and go, sorry, then you'll go, well, I'm gonna get criticized for that. If I set everything up and it's ready to go and nothing goes wrong, then you get praised for it. It's how it works. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's life.
Do your job.
Ray says criticize, yes, but judging if he needs to be in the job till the end of the season. Okay, fair enough. You're talking about criticizing his decisions and the in-game stuff, game by game. All right, cool. But like what we said, I do agree with that. I said it's not healthy to just keep discussing his future after every win and loss. It's draining, it's tiresome, and he's not going anywhere. We've got to just look past that.
I said he's going to be the end of the season, I think. That's when Ineos will judge his first full season and we'll be at the end of it.
Yeah, it's because if we don't get into Europe again and it's hurting us financially and it doesn't look right, then it looks different. You can talk about 3 years all you want, but
they're not going to do anything now because why would they? Because like I said, we could go to Palace and win at the weekend and then we're back, at the table. So there's no need to be like that. This is why he needs to go today. Because, like I said, if Ruben Amorim was going to go, he would have gone a long time ago. He is not going anywhere.
NTX says can't use player FC or it's also the players anymore. You have plenty of good technical players in the squad, but Amorim and his system doesn't utilize them well and scapegoats them. When you say plenty of good technical players, who are you saying? Kobe, Xerxes, Mount. Is Bruno a good technical player? Probably not the top of his list. Casemiro's not. Ugate's not. Cunha, technically, sound, good touch, powerful. And Mbumo. What? Dorgu, no. Dallo, no.
We kind of get lost with what technical players are.
Yeah,
as well,
I don't think we do have loads of them. I don't think I wouldn't say we have plenty of good technical players.
I remember Coach Cam said this, and it was so true. It's so true what he says, in that because we just don't see it at all. When someone shows a little bit of it, we think that's what it is. So it's like last season where you go, look at us pressing. You go, we're not really pressing. We're just kind of one player's closing someone down. And it's the same with passing. If we see a player that can do a 5-yard pass, we go, what's technical player? You go, they're not really. You know what I mean? There are a lot of better technical players out there. Than
I was talking with Bradley yesterday at the game, not yesterday, Monday night before the game, and we were talking about Casemiro because he really likes him. He was like, yeah, because this, that, he goes, he's world class on the ball. I said, no, he's not.
No, he's not.
He goes, no, he goes like, there's elite. There's like people that are elite on the ball, and like Casemiro's below that. He's world class on the ball. I'm like, nah, I disagree with that. I feel like if he's got time and space to ping a pass out there, he's played at the top level for many, many years. He can find the target, but he's not world class on the ball. Nowhere near.
He can do the Casemiro special, and he's all right on the ball. But it's one of those ones where we're so not used to it. We've been so starved for so long that we see literally Casemiro do the Casemiro special. We go, oh, he's a technical player. And you go, he's not. No. You know what I mean? He's not. We used to have a team like literally, I know back in the day, but Michael Carrick, Paul Scholes, they're technical midfielders. You know what I mean? Pass with both feet, spray the ball around, can be press resistant, 1 touch, 2 touch. You don't have to worry about them giving the ball away. That's world class on the ball. We don't have that. Like we don't, nowhere near that. Nowhere near. We can't pass the ball 5 yards.
Exactly. Amanor in quotes says nobody was complaining when we were winning. I think there's a little bit of an irony there. And Max says, you think we stick with Ruben up to a point where the team is a top 4 team, and only then we go for a proven coach once groundwork has been laid out? ? Don't know. Who even knows if Ruben gets us to that's the sort of suggesting that he's taken us as far as he can. He's done quite well. We're a consistent Champions League team now, qualification team. We need that coach to take us to the next level. It doesn't feel like that now. There hasn't been enough good work done. So right now, it still feels like, in my opinion anyway, still feels like he's still fighting to convince everybody that he is supposed to be the guy to take us forward. And I think that's fair. That's not an agenda. That's not you're impatient. That's a year anniversary of what's happened. So we'll see.
I think it's just a case with him whereby he's either been told or he's got these kind of reassurances, like you've got the season. You've got the season to show us where you're at, where you finish. If I think at any point, let's say it gets to February, March, and we're like bottom half, and there's just no fucking way we're getting anywhere near the European spots, then maybe that's when the conversation will be had. But he's going to get the season. He's going to be given a full season at Manchester United. Good, bad, or indifferent. He's going to get that full year.
Yeah, Aminor says Marcel's post-match video, he did not criticize the manager. Yeah, he was going in on the players. He did a little bit on Ruben, but talk about the starting team maybe, etc. But yeah, his criticism was mainly on the players. Right, let's fly through these actually because we've got to wrap up. So we haven't actually moved on yet. Right, United want Anderson.
Yeah, just very quickly from Andy Mitten. He said Elliot Anderson is absolutely the player that Manchester United want. He also said Man United have other options beside him, and he stressed that the money will be there regardless. I don't know if I think it probably means the summer to get him. But do you know what's funny? Like I said earlier on, Flex, the one thing I don't think we consider enough is that, well, depending on what happens this season, we might want Elliot Anderson, but will he want us? If we poorly perform, I think everyone who wouldn't want Elliot Anderson from the Premier League, right? Any team,
everyone's going to want him. Yeah, he is. I really. It hasn't been.
Do I need to get the graph up? Do I need to do the? Get the graph up. Look at that.
Obviously, that was. Obviously, you need to put like a new stamp on there saying, as of
as of a couple of weeks
whatever
ago.
day. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're going to get further away from that date where that could change
Yeah.
slightly, and it's still going to say
Yeah.
that. But anyway, he's still. Last time we checked, he's still playing really well.
Yeah.
I haven't felt so strongly about a player to go and get, because I don't really usually get involved in that, because it's a bit EAFC, it's a bit FIFA-ish, a bit Football Manager-ish, a bit. I tell you what, we get him, and then you got the perfect thing. He is one where I'm not budging. I remember, like I said, I'm not doing it. I told you all. I remember before when it was all Belabor and Wharton, I went, guys, you see who I want? I want him. And now it's like really, really him. I ain't moving from it, man. I think we have to. Remember when Declan Rice was available? And I know, like, we had to go against Arsenal, go against City, and we were down the pecking. But, and it's like, what a miss out, man. Yeah, same with Caicedo. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is our chance. These chances don't. I did do that with Amrabat. You're right. So don't listen to me. This is one of those chances again, I believe, to get like a top level midfielder that can go on to be world class. I think it's this. I think he could be a Declan Rice. He could be in the mold or as influential as those guys. Maybe not better than them. Those are. Now look at Caicedo last night. Jesus Christ. Like, he's incredible, bro. He's incredible. When I watch Declan Rice every game, I don't understand people who hate on him. He's incredible. Maybe he might not be as good as those guys, but he can be equal to, and as influential as. And I think we have. He's one of the ones where I go, fuck it. You know what? I know I might regret it. Break bank for him. I'll be honest.
I think
if we had to pay the 100 mil, if we had to pay it, I'd pay it. Bro.
I think again, my just worry is just it's almost like, because we've spoken about him so much and he's got so much Manchester United coverage, it's kind of already like this, we're going to go get him in the summer. And I'm just a little bit like, are we?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does he want that? Because there might be other teams that are maybe in better positions than us. And how can we convince him? Because I know it doesn't necessarily work like this, but he used to say, he's watching the game on Monday and he's like, well, I want to be a part of that. I know. Do I want to go in that? Does like Thomas Tuchel say to him, "Look, you're playing for me at the moment, but just so you know, you go to a certain club and they're not in European football. They're doing this and doing that. Well, maybe I don't pick you. Like these things happen. So I worry about it, but he would make such a difference. Like I said, that's why I love the graph. He's exactly what you need. Wins the ball, plays it forward, drives the team forward. That's what we need in our midfield. He's young. Can get up and down the pitch, regardless of who's in charge, what system it is, whether it's 3-4-3, 4-2-3-1, or whatever. He works. It will work regardless. But it's just going to be. I just hope that there aren't loads of other clubs that are competing against us, because I'm not sure if we'll win.
Yeah, no, I agree. If Liverpool come in for him, you know what I mean. Even if Newcastle come back in for him, I know they might not pay that much, so it might be different, but I think they've got buyback, or he's their guy. He might want to go back there. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they've got a buyback. I'm not sure if they have. But you said he went through the academy there.
Yeah, maybe not buyback, but if they showed interest to say, come back home, man, come back. Maybe they moved on Joe Linton or something, or you never know. There's loads of things that happen. Amanda says, Flex, you did this with Amrabat regarding hyping the player, #HMRC. I did, exactly. But if you don't agree with me and you all think Elliot Anderson's rubbish, so you don't want to believe me, that's fine.
And also as well, I think in fairness,
I think it's fairly clear.
Big up to the HMRC guy. What's his name again?
Carell.
The issue is, I suppose, is everyone's got them. You know what I mean? Everyone's got those thinkers of players that they've backed, or you know what I mean? Or,
but HMRC
especially in this space.
Yeah,
you know
and HMRC is more for, in my opinion, you're saying something, like the players, like they're saying something that they did that they didn't do. That's cap. Like having an opinion that didn't age well is a different thing than, you know what I mean? But there are some things where you go, I'm telling you, within 2 years, this guy's going to be in the England team and he's going to be starting. Okay, then if he's not and he's playing for,
I think
now, then,
nothing wrong with Oxford, mate. Nothing wrong with Oxford.
Yeah,
mate.
oh yeah,
the best people come from there. Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's more for, I never said this, or I never did that. I've never said that I thought Amrabat was good or something like that, and you go, wow, there's footage.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? No, I did do it. Yeah, but like what Owen said, I've never denied that I said it.
Yeah.
I'm not lying about what I said. So I don't think HMRC can venture into bad takes. I think he has to.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think
it's capping.
It's not about bad takes. I think it's
about
more
lies.
I think that's what it's about. It's about like I didn't say this, or I've never called for Ruben Amorim out or anything like that. And you go, well, fucking, here's the footage, mate.
Well, I don't know why he's saying that. Yeah, I've never said the manager should leave. I've never said that.
Yeah.
Roll the tapes. That's different.
Exactly.
That's different.
That's different.
But bad footballing tapes, Jesus Christ, it'd be here a week. It'd be here all day.
Everyone's got.
Big up to Terminal 4. This is the captain speaking. Big up to Terminal, man. He says the fella's giving us that truth this morning. Big up Owen and my bro Flex Zeno. Yes, big up to you, my bro. Good love. Big love to you.
People are saying that now. I'm an honorary yard man. That's what they're.
You are. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You are.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. There you go. The other two stories, I mean, they were really quick. It was basically Amorim sort of saying.
Well, we spoke about the 4-3-3.
Yeah, we spoke about that. And January loan exits was that, the likes of Diego Leon and Aiden Heaven and Sekou Kone could all go out on loan, which, I think it's to be expected, isn't it? Like, there's one game a week. These guys aren't going to get in, especially with someone like Aiden Heaven, who actually has been around the first team, is pretty much on the bench every game and has had a little bit of exposure when he wasn't supposed to last year. Martinez is coming back now. Harry Maguire is going to be back. Like, he's just not going to play. So we want these guys to develop. So I think definitely get them out on loan. Diego Leon, Sekou Kone, Aiden Heaven. I'm all for that. I know some people like Aiden Heaven should be playing, but let's just be realistic. It's not going to happen. Right, there you go, people. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Make sure you guys check out Flex and KG show later on. And tonight on the Football Flex, I will be live covering Arsenal against Bayern Munich. Have a little look in on that. Watch Arsenal probably destroy them. Yeah, I think Arsenal.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Bayern Munich are all right.
Yeah, they are. Diaz
beat PSG. It's the Diaz one, isn't it? That hurts them.
Arsenal will take care of them at home, I think. And check out Football Flex as well, because I'm going to do a reaction to the Chelsea game last night, because Esteval is him. What a performance from him. So if you're interested in all your football, make sure you go check out Football Flex straight after this video, dropping in about 10 minutes or so. Right, guys, we're out of here. Take care. Laters. Peace.